Howdy everyone, it's me Grace, and welcome back. Today, I'm making a real, permanent gravestone using Pal Tiya. When my kitty Ghost passed away from cancer this July, I knew I wanted to create a real headstone for her so I would have a place to visit her in my garden. While researching what materials I could use to make a real gravestone, I came across Pal Tiya. Pal Tiya is a substance that you can mix with water to cover a structure to make it as durable as stone. I've seen what can be created with Pal Tiya in person when I visited Weta Workshop a couple years back. The people at Pal Tiya were nice enough to send me some extra Pal Tiya with my order, so I would have plenty of it to use for future projects. They also sent me a link to a headstone tutorial that I'll link below in the description. I made a design for my gravestone and then got to work. Pal Tiya works best as a strong outer shell. So first, I had to create a structure for the gravestone. I decided to use cardboard. Knowing what I know now, I would have used EVA foam instead of cardboard. This is because applying the wet Pal Tiya mixture will make the cardboard structure soggy. Luckily, the cardboard base held up fine for me, but I had to apply the wet mixture really carefully and in multiple layers. But don't worry, you can still follow this tutorial and use EVA foam, aluminum foil, or another preferred base material. After sketching out my gravestone shape, I cut out long cardboard strips to make the sides and glued them all together using my Surebonder hot glue gun. I sketched, cut out, and applied more details to my headstone. I decided to add fairy wings on Ghost because I always called her my little fairy. She was so small and energetic, and whenever she moved, she looked like a little white blur. I was curious to see how much detail Pal Tiya would pick up, so I etched in some eye and face details just to see what happened. Ghost's favorite toy was this little frog that she carried around everywhere. I figured this part of the stone will be underground, but I'll know that I put it there. And with that, here's the design so far. It might end up changing a bit through the creation process, but I like where it's going so far. I set up a place outside to work, put on my protective gear, and started mixing up some Pal Tiya. As you may be able to see from the mixture, this has a lot of little fibers in it. While working with it, it reminded me a bit of fiberglass and a little bit of concrete, but it was much easier to sculpt and work with than any of those materials. It didn't pick up those tiny face details I had etched into the cardboard, but I'll add those details back in later. After my first layer, I wrapped the gravestone tightly in plastic and left it alone for a day so it could harden a little bit. I removed the plastic to check on it, and it was apparent that this would need at least one more layer of Pal Tiya for some extra strength and durability. I whipped up another batch and touched up some of the areas that needed some more attention. Then I made sure the entire piece was wet before wrapping it up again. The wetter your work stays, the better the Pal Tiya cures. Luckily, it was raining constantly this past week, so the gravestone had no problem with staying wet. During the 5-day curing process, you can still carve it and tweak it. Just keep in mind that the longer that it sits, the harder it will become. After the 5-day curing process, it'll be as hard as stone. Once the piece is cured, I decided to weather it and add details using black outdoor acrylic paint. After the paint dried, the headstone was all done. I'm planning on planting lots of flowers around this stone. It'll be a nice, peaceful place to visit my friend. This week's Makers of the Week include Charles, who made me into a minifig Paladin. I am so honored, Charles. Thank you so much. Carrie has made so many wonderful handmade items that are displayed in their home. Robert made his first helmet. It's looking great. And thank you so much for taking the time to show me what you all create. Thanks again for watching. If you liked the video, I hope you'll consider subscribing because I would love to see you back. Until next time, bye y'all.